James chapter 2 and 17. It says, even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead being alone. Remember we talked about in that Colossians, wicked works. All right, we did wicked works. But now you're going to have righteous works. What are the righteous works? We read that in Deuteronomy, the righteous acts. All right, which is the laws, as all this law, the law, statutes, and commandments, to make us separate from this world. All right, to make us separate from these other nations and their ways, which is the law, statutes, and commandments, our ways, the ways of life. All right, so now we're going to be presented holy and unblameable and unreprovable, and we're going to have mercy if we continue in the faith. We continue in the faith if James 2 and 17, even so faith, if it have not works, is dead being alone. So now you don't have faith if you don't have works, because faith without works is dead, and vice versa. Okay? So what works, what must we have? The works of the law, statutes, and commandments. The works of being separate from this present evil world. All right? The works of, faith, the works of doing this work, teaching what you know. All right? Applying of our ways. Okay? And our ways is not being part of this world right now. All right. Now, of course, we have to plug into the matrix because we got to work. You know what I'm saying? We got to go, get a job, make some money. We may even, go shoot some hoops, maybe go work out, maybe go to, to the ballpark or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't something we're investing in like that. You know what I'm saying? The Lord allows us some comfort and some downtime to, go to the park or something, you know what I'm saying? And, do something that we happen to like, but like the scripture says, we got to be temperate in all things, meaning balance. Okay? And that we want the Lord to come back. All right? We don't want to continue to be here. We don't want to continue to be under our enemies. We don't want to continue to be in this wicked flesh. All right? We don't want to continue to feed the flesh whatever it wants. And I'm cutting myself saying that because I need to sacrifice more and do more myself. All right? But yeah, that's what it's all about, man. But we have to continue in the faith. How do we continue in the faith? All right? By proving that we have faith. All right? That's why it says faith without works is dead. And that's why in this Judges 5 and 11, it says they that are delivered, another word for delivered is saved. All right. Saved, salvation. All right. So they that are saved, they that have salvation from the noise of the archers. All right. The noise of the archers are those ICBM missiles, all right, those intercontinental ballistic missiles, all right, that the Lord has put on the spirit of all these other nations to make these missiles that's going to destroy, So you had atomic bombs, all right, that did some damage, straight up damage. But now you have nuclear missiles that the Lord put it on the spirit of these nations to develop and make. And not just to sit up. They're going to be used. All right. These are the noise of the archers. All right. That these other nations have. Even America has them. And they're going to shoot some off. All right. But the main place that's going to get hit is right here and over in the land of Israel, because it's got to be cleansed. All right. Other places going to get hit too. All right. But nothing like this place called America. Okay. So it says they that are delivered, saved from this fire. All right. Because the Lord is going to use those missiles and the fire from the chariots. All right. It says in the places of drawing waters. Drawing waters represent captivity. All right. So those that are delivered, saved from the noise of the archers, the fire in the day of the Lord's wrath, in the places of drawing waters, captivity, right? It says there shall they rehearse the righteous acts. What are the righteous acts? The law, statutes, and commandments, which make you separate from these other nations and the ways of this present evil world. Okay? These are the righteous acts. All right? First and foremost, that faith. All right? And how do you show your faith? Through the works. All right? It says, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of the villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates. Okay? And so we're trying to be delivered. We're trying to be saved. All right? We're trying to be reconciled back in good graces of Yahweh. All right? And the way to do that is to rehearse the righteous acts. All right? This Hebrew word for rehearse is thana, which means to recount. All right? Again, count again the laws, statutes, and commandments that we didn't count, which made us to be in this predicament that we're in right now. So now we got to count again the law, statutes, and commandments. All right. And rehearse them. See, when you in rehearsal, all right, I used to be an actor myself. All right. So when I was in rehearsal, sometimes, I'm rehearsing, going over my lines, and then I forget a line and I say line, and then they feed me whatever the line is. See, but when I'm in the performance, the actual show, I can't call that line. Nah, I got to keep going. All right. See, but in rehearsal, it's just that, a rehearsal. I can call for line. I can mess up. All right. I'm just in rehearsal. But when I'm in rehearsal, I'm not trying to forget a line. When I'm in rehearsal, I'm not trying to mess up. I'm trying to get it, but I'm in rehearsal, and that's what rehearsals are for. All right. So you can get it. So right now, we have to rehearse the righteous acts. Although we may mess up a time or two because we in the flesh, and we're going to perform the show after those days, like it says in Hebrews. After those days are these days that we're in now. When after these days, when we're going to have the law, statutes, and commandments written in our minds and our hearts, then we're going to perform perfectly. All right. But right now, at least, we have to try to perform. Try to do our best in following these laws, statutes, and commandments. All right. And even though you mess up, hey, you repent. You know what I'm saying? We'll feel bad that we messed up. Like, dang, man, I done messed up, man. You know what? I'm going to go on a fast, man. I'm going to, make myself suffer because I know I messed up. And that's what this thing is all about. So, once again, it says, they that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing waters, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts. All right. Because we know that those noise of the archers are going to be the time when the Lord puts the judgment on this place. OK, and rightfully so, because this is 2nd Esdras chapter 15:5. It says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the earth, upon the world. And the biggest plague are these missiles and the fire from the chariots. That's why in this, let me see. It's this Zechariah, I believe. Right. This is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. It says, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. What's going to have people's flesh consume away while they stand upon their feet. All right, consume away. All right, this is Zephaniah 1:18. It says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all of them that dwell in the land. All right. In the day of the Lord's wrath, the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. And that fire is going to be produced by the plague, Zechariah 14:12. And this is the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. And Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. We so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the Hebrew Israelites, who are Jerusalem. Okay? And all those that fight against us, even 2/3 of our people, because 2/3 of our people are not the Israel of God. 2/3 of our people are not Jerusalem right now. They're counted as heathen, like we read in that Matthews. Okay? They're like Gentiles. They're heathens now. So they're going to get caught up in the heathens' punishment. Okay? Which is this plague? Which is this fire? The noise of the archers. All right? But we want to be delivered from that. Okay? So back in the second Esdras 15 and 5, it says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. All right. And the main instrument to cause this destruction, all right, the main plague is those noise of the archers, those ICBM missiles. All right. That is 100% going to be shot over here during the time of World War III. OK. Like it says, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah mustereth the host of the battle. He do that. All right. The king's heart is in the hand of the Most High God. All right. As it is written, roughly paraphrasing. All right. It says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. All right. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. All right. And we don't want to be with this present evil world because it's wickedness, and the wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. All right. And we want to be found separate, found holy. OK. Carrying on. This is 1 Corinthians. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 32. It says, but when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. All right. Because the Lord is coming with a condemnation. All right. Like none other for this world. And we don't want to be condemned with the world. All right. We don't want to get caught up in that plague, in that fire of his jealousy, in that noise of the archers. All right. In that dwelling in torments, that weeping and gnashing of teeth. All right. Because that is the punishment that the world is going to get in all these other nations. And 2/3 of our people, if they don't, well, for 2/3 of our people. All right. So you don't want to be part of that. All right. Now you have to give diligence in making your calling and election sure. Give diligence in having faith. Give diligence in showing your faith by your works and being separate, being holy from this world and their mindset and their works and their customs and their philosophies, their religions. Okay? You want to be separate from that so you don't get condemned with the world. Okay? Because once again, it says, matter of fact, I'll start at verse 31. It says, for if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. All right. If we judge ourselves by the Bible, by the instructions and what's written therein to be found holy, to be found righteous. All right. For if we should judge ourselves, we should not be judged. All right. Because if we judge ourselves and go according to as it is written, rightly dividing the word of truth, and we measure up to that, man, we have hope of salvation. Okay, we should not be judged with the rest of this world. All right, it says, but when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord. That's why right now we going through the spiritual fire. We going through the chastening of the Lord now, which, like the scripture says, no chastening of the Lord seems to be joyous, but grievous. It says, but afterward it worketh the peaceable fruit unto them that are exercised thereby. So if you exercise right now by, going through all the things you got to go through, the temptations, the sufferings and afflictions, and having patience, and still keeping your faith, still keeping your integrity and doing what's right, you're going through that spiritual fire right now, and you're going to come out shining like gold. All right. That's why he said, for acceptable men are in the furnace of affliction. All right. That cluster, that he said he has a cluster, that's going through all the necessary things that we go through right now. See, our flesh, we went according to our flesh. Hey, man, we be trying to live our best life. We be trying to have the money, cars, clothes, and the hoes and success and being rich and striving to get rich. All right. But no, we understand this is not our rest. We understand this is a training ground. We understand that we should be separate from all the ways of the world and being carnal and having the money, cars, clothes, and the hoes and success here. Okay? So it says once again, for if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. So we taking all the spiritual fire now, so we don't have to deal with the physical fire in the day of the Lord's wrath. All right. And so we judge ourselves right now according to as it is written. That's why it says this, 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. And I got a few more and I'm up out of here. 13 and 5. It says, examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves that how that Yahushua is in you, except ye be reprobates? All right. So we have to examine ourselves. Examine what the word says and see if we measuring up to that. All right. Or at least trying to the best of our ability. Okay? As it is written. Okay? Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. All right? We judging ourselves by these scriptures and making sure that what the scriptures say, hey, we trying to do that. We own that. Rightly divided. Okay? Not the ways of these churches and a misinterpretation of our book, but the ways having faith in truth. All right. This is James 1. James chapter 1, verse 27. It says pure religion. All right. And this religion basically means worship. All right. How we should. That's why the Lord said, those that worship me must worship me in spirit and in truth. In truth. You can't worship him in the ways of false doctrine, the ways of a misinterpretation, like in today's churches. All right. These so-called Christians and Catholics and Jehovah's Witness and Seventh-day Adventists and Episcopalians and apologists and, all these different denominations and you can't worship that way. All right. Because that's doctrines of men. All right. Doctrines of devils. All right. You gotta, as it is written, rightly divided. All right. And rightly divided go into the Greek word orthotomeo, which means to teach the Bible directly and correctly. All right. Direct and correct. Okay. But anyway, pure religion and undefiled, pure worship and undefiled before God and the Father is this: to visit the Father and the widows in their affliction. And that's what we're doing, because our people are the fatherless and the widows. All right. That's our people. They don't know that Yahweh is their true father. All right. And they're afflicted by all the deceit and lies and the ways of this world. Okay. But it says pure religion and undefiled. All right. Before God and the Father is this: to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. So you can't have no spots of this world and wanting it to continue. All right. You got to want the Lord to come back yesterday. All right. And the Lord know who truly want him to come back. Or if you like, nah, maybe, in another 100 years or something, when I'm gone out, let me live my best life, you know what I'm saying? And then he can come, No, we want righteousness now. All right, we tired of this present evil world and wickedness. And the Lord knows. Okay? And you got to keep yourself unspotted from this present evil world. You got to be separate. Be holy, okay? Because if you're not separate and unholy, separate and holy, right? Then you're a part of the world. And if you're a part of the world, then you're going to receive that judgment of the world. Like it says, them plagues, the sword, famine, death, destruction. All right, that's what you're going to receive, okay? And this is 2 Peter 3 and 11. 2 Peter 3 and 11. It says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved by that fire, right? It says, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? And that conversation go back to the Greek word anastrophe, which means your conduct. All right? Your ways of living, your ways of thinking, right? It says, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy, right? Separate from the ways of this world and these other nations and 2/3 of our people. All right. Seeing that this place going to be destroyed and on fire. All right. What manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? And verse 12, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Most High, where the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. It says, nevertheless, we according to his promise, according to the Lord's promise, look for a new heaven and a new earth. Because when this place is destroyed, it ain't going to be destroyed utterly. All right. It's just going to be cleansed by the fire. All right. And we look for the new heaven. Meaning kainos, refreshed. All right. And it's going to be what's the best cleansing agent? Fire. Now, of course, as it is written, America, this place right here, is never going to be inhabited by man again. It's going to be like it says, the cormorant, all those desert creatures. All right. Like it says in Revelation. All right. But this is going to be a everlasting, eternal memorial of the most wicked kingdom of all kingdoms, and how you shouldn't be, all right, and how you shouldn't live, because look what happened, all right. It's never to be inhabited ever, all right. Talking about right here, America, the place that's gonna get nuked like none other. Now, other places are gonna get missiles too, but it's gonna be, refreshed. It's gonna be cleansed and built back up. All right. But not this place. All right. So it says, nevertheless, we according to his promise look for a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. See, when the righteous rulers are which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the biblical Hebrew Israelites, when we're in rulership, we're going to rule in righteousness. That's why Proverbs 29:2, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. The people that we rule over are going to rejoice. Now, ultimately, of course, after their slavery, after they build up our kingdom, after we pay them back, recompense them everything that they did to us, as it is according to that 1 Thessalonians 1:6, or 2 Thessalonians 1:6, one of the two. It says, for it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. All right. So we're going to recompense, pay back all these other nations, everything that they've done to us. OK, but after that, the wicked nation of people is going to be eradicated, like it talks about in Obadiah. But then all other nations of people, you go to your allotted lands that we give and live, man. We're going to be like it says, we're going to be a nation of priests and kings. See, what do priests do? They teach. All right. Who are we? We not going to teach ourselves, because the law, statutes, and commandments, as it is written, going to be in our minds and our hearts. 100% of the Israelites. All right. And if we're a nation of priests and kings, who are we teaching as priests? Who are we ruling over as kings? The other nations. But once that their time is up for that payback, all right, and they go to their allotted lands, we're going to teach them our ways. All right, we're going to rule with our ways, the law, statutes, and commandments. And we're going to teach them that. And that's how they're going to live too. Now, of course, they're not going to have the promise of the law, statutes, and commandments being written in their minds and their hearts. So they're going to be susceptible to sin, susceptible to transgress a law. OK, but it's not going to be as prevalent. Transgressing the law is not going to be as prevalent as it is now in the kingdom. All right, because they're going to fear. All right, to transgress a law, because when they transgress a law, we going to know about it. And then they're going to get the penalty for whatever it is that they transgress. And it's not going to be pretty. Ain't going to be no jails or nothing like that. Nah. You know, it's going to be a straight up penalty for whatever the transgression is. Okay. And it ain't going to be a nice penalty. All right. But anyway, going back to this second Peter 3:13. It says, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot, and blameless. All right. So when the Lord come back with that destruction, all right, when he come back with that fire and shall melt things with fervent heat, all right, you may be found of him in peace, without spot, no spots of this world, this present evil world. All right, found of him in peace, without spot, and blameless. And you can only be found of him in peace, without spot, and blameless if you have faith in the truth, if you have faith in Yahushua in spirit and in truth. Not in the false doctrine, but in the only true interpretation of this Bible. All right, that's being propagated first and foremost by the apostles of Great Millstone on down to all those that's teaching the like doctrine of truth. Okay? Being found of him in peace, without spot, and blameless. All right? And that's only if you're covered by the blood of Yahushua. And you can only be covered by the blood of Yahushua if you continue in the faith, grounded and settled. And faith without works is dead. All right? That's why it says in that second Esdras 9, it says 9 and 7, second Esdras 9 and 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape what? The wrath of the Lord, that fire. By his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. All right. So the works is the works of the law, statutes, and commandments. All right. The works, of course, the works of faith, the law, statutes, and commandments, and doing this work, all right? Being part of the body to edify the body, to help the body of Yahweh Shai, all right? Which first and foremost, that body starts off with his elect men, the 144, that is the apostles, prophets, helps, all right, teachers, so on and so forth, all right? Then